Good morning, students. I hope you all are fine and enjoying your winter vacations. Today we'll study a very interesting and familiar topic, that is on punctuation. The punctuation marks without which our English speaking and writing is incomplete or meaningless. So let's start. Now students, read the following paragraph along with me. My name is Ria. Do you know what I do every day? I get up early in the morning and go for a walk. Daily I love to drink milk with honey. My mother makes tasty breakfast. I love my mother. What do you like to do? Now let's read the paragraph once again. My name is Ria. Do you know what I do every day? I get up early in the morning and go for a walk daily. I love to drink milk with honey. My mother makes tasty breakfast. I love my mother. What do you like to do? So children, did you find the difference of my reading? Was it easier to read the paragraph now? Did you pause? Did you stop at places where the full stops, commas and question marks were used? Was the meaning now easier to understand? Of course, yes. So these commas, full stops, question marks which were highlighted in red, they are what? They are known as punctuation marks. Punctuation marks is nothing but the use of signs and marks in writing. Whenever you observe any sign or any mark in a piece of statement, it is what? It is punctuation mark. It is used to indicate a pause or stop in a sentence. It is also used to separate sentences and parts of sentences. It also makes the meaning of a piece of writing clear. As I previously mentioned, if you will not use the punctuation mark, you will not be able to understand the meaning of the sentence which you are saying. So therefore, it is very mandatory, very important to use the punctuation mark in a sentence. So here are some types of punctuation marks. Can you see the first one? It is what? It is a comma. What does the comma say? It says to take a break, to take a pause, to take a short pause whenever you are saying a statement which has so many parts. The next one is full stop, which says to stop. We use the full stop at the end of a sentence, yes? Just to know that the sentence has been completed. And when we use a full stop, it means that we should take a small stop to understand the sentence and move on to the new one. The third one is a question mark. A question mark is also known as a mark of interrogation. It is used at the end of a question. Whenever we ask any question, we put a question mark at the end. And the last one is exclamation mark. It is used to express feelings or emotions. So let's take the types of punctuation marks one by one. So let's begin with our first one, which is capital letter and full stop. So here is something which you need to know. A sentence always begins with a capital letter and ends with a full stop. Whenever you use a capital letter at the beginning of a sentence, it means that a new sentence has been started. Similarly, a full stop at the end of a sentence will let you know that the sentence has come to an end. If you will not put a full stop at the end of a sentence, then you will not be able to understand when the sentence has been completed. So it's very important to put a full stop at the end of a sentence. And a full stop is also known as a period. So let's discuss the uses of full stop. We use the full stop at the end of a declarative sentence. You all must have studied the types of sentences. There are 4 kinds of sentences: declarative, imperative, interrogative and exclamatory. Let us talk about the declarative sentence. Declarative sentences are nothing but simple statements. They always begin with a capital letter and ends with a full stop. Can you see the first picture? It says, we go for a walk every Sunday. Can you see the first letter? It is capital. The letter W is capital. And can you see a full stop at the end of the sentence after the word Sunday? Yes. So, when a sentence begins with a capital letter and ends with a full stop, it is a declarative sentence. See the second picture. Karan is riding a bicycle. The first word Karan, can you see that word? The first letter of the word Karan is again capital. And then a full stop at the end of the statement is there. So, we always use a full stop at the end of a declarative sentence. The next use of full stop is at the end of an imperative sentences. You know what are imperative sentences? Imperative sentences are the ones which shows an order, a command or a request. Can you see the first picture? Close the door. Here it is depicting an order. Imperative sentences also start with a capital letter and ends with a full stop. Now see the second picture. Tidy up your room. It is again an order. Here also the first letter is capital and there is a full stop at the end of the sentence. So, it is very clear that we use a full stop at the end of an imperative sentence also. So, the third use of full stop is after abbreviations and short forms. Abbreviations are also a kind of short forms only. Let us see our first example. I visited the USA last year. Can you see some dots between the word USA? What are these? These are full stop. What is the full form of USA? United States of America. So whenever we are writing a word in its short form, we put the first letter and then a dot after it. I visited the USA last year. Can you see a full stop at the end of the sentence? So, we use a full stop at the end as well as in the abbreviations. See the second example. Professor Singh will give us a lecture today. Can you see the first word? P-R-O-F dot. What is the meaning of it? It means professor. So whenever we write a word in its short form, we use a dot or a full stop after it. Professor Singh will give us a lecture today. Moving on towards our next punctuation mark, that is a comma. So let's go through some uses of comma. Comma is used to separate two or more words in a sentence. Let's look at the first picture. It says, we bought brinjals, tomatoes and capsicums from the grocer. Can you see a comma between brinjals and tomatoes? What are these? These are certain examples of what a girl is buying from the grocer. So whenever there are two or more words, we always put a comma in between and take a short pause. We should take a short stop or a pause whenever a comma is placed. Now let's look at the second picture. Can you see the four girls? Kiran, Priya, Prachi and Megha are my friends. Can you see that I took a short pause between every comma? So, we always use a comma whenever we are separating two or more words in a sentence. Our next usage of comma is in address, dates and titles following a name. Look at the first picture. I live at 102 Delight Garden, National Road, Dehradun 248001. Can you see that I took a short pause whenever a comma was placed? Whenever you write an address, you always put a comma so that it may indicate a short pause and the address is clear to the listener. Similarly, when we write a date, we again put a comma. See the second picture now. Bhagat Singh was born on 27th September 1907. So did you see that I paused after September? Whenever we write any date, we also put a comma indicating a short pause so that the date might be clear to the listener listening. Is it clear? So let's move on towards our last punctuation mark, which is there in your syllabus, that is question mark. Question mark is also known as a mark of interrogation. So when we talk about the use of question marks, it is very obvious that a question mark is placed at the end of a question. We place a question mark whenever we end any sentence which is asking a question. It is not essential that a question mark is always placed at the end of a question which starts with WH words. It can also start with a helping verb. Do you know what are helping verbs? Is, am, are, was, were, has, have or had. These are what? These are helping verbs. You can also put a question mark at the end of a sentence which frames a question with a helping verb. See the first example. Have you seen my new car? Can you see that a question has been formed with the help of a helping verb? Can you also see the question mark which is placed at the end of a question? So, it is very obvious that we put a question mark at the end of a question. Let's see the second example. Which house is yours? Again, any statement which starts with WH words always ends with a question mark. So, it is very clear now that we use a question mark at the end of a question, be it a helping verb or a WH word where a sentence starts with. So children, now it's your time to go through this video again and practice this interesting topic in your notebooks. Thank you.